unfortunately, Brother Kendi himself, you see, I think historical sociology, Marx and Weber and Durkheim and Du Bois, Simone de Beauvoir and others, that's absent in his work. It's not there. And therefore you end up with what I'm calling this fetishizing the rich. Same is true with Brother Coates. And Brother Norman makes the case, or both of them in that regard. I know, Brother Norman, you spend so much time. I mean, I must say, that's a whole lot of time reading. Then when you juxtapose it to Du Bois, you're like, oh my God, that's like Kenny G versus John Coltrane. You know, Kenny G gonna end up looking real shallow, given the dignity and the sound of Coltrane. Du Bois is up here, and Kendi's here, and of course, you know, Toni Morrison was the one that said Brother Coates was Baldwin, and I responded immediately. I said, I believe that Coates' voice needs to be taken seriously. Kendi's voice needs to be taken seriously. Come from a people. Lift every voice is the anthem of Black folk. But that's lift every voice, not lift every echo expression of a silo, but a voice that you have owned and you put your whole self in it. Partly a critique of certain professionals. The experts, they're very reluctant to put their whole self in it. But if you put your whole self in it, what does that mean? Then you can never make a claim that Black folk don't have, what was the formulation? He said Black folk don't have any, you can't be critical of them, or Black folk don't have any deficiencies. Everybody who makes it in the space and time through their mama's womb or through cesarean section is a cracked vessel. They got a whole lot of work to be done. They got a whole lot of maturity to undergo. Shakespeare says rightness is all. That's what he means. Nobody's born right. You got to undergo unbelievable discipline and contestation and self-criticism in order to find your voice. As an intellectual, a human being, a musician or whatever. And so my context is just very different than Brother Kendi. But Kendi is like Coates. They are very much signs and symptoms of a culture that evolves around the reifying and the fetishizing of categories like race. Now, it generates tremendous monetary gain because so much of it is market driven anyway. Commodification is just ubiquitous. It's like Lukasz's commodification and reification on steroids. It's everywhere. It saturates every nook and cranny. So you can come up with impoverished discourses and be highly rewarded financially and monetarily and so forth. But you got to go back to Du Bois and back to Marx and back to Weber. Why? Because you want to be a truth teller and you want to be a justice seeker. That's a very different thing than being a professional success.